Python has some very strong string formatting operators that can be used to format your string. Let's take a look at an example to illustrate this. I have variables name, age, and weight, and I'm going to print out this variable. I'll say my name is, I'm going to create a placeholder here that will store whatever name I will be supplying from name. My name is my name, and I am my age years old, and I weigh my weight, and I weigh my weight. So right here, what I want to do is use the Python operators to replace these placeholders so that they can take in this string. So what I want is it will now show my name is Emmanuel, and I am 22 years old, and I weigh 68.04 kilogram, or 150 pounds, as you would want. To do this, you're going to use a pound sign to specify the variables you want to put in. So I'm going to put in name as the first variable, age as the second variable, and weight as the third variable. That is, I'm using this three variable here. I'm putting them in here. If I run this code right here, it's going to give me an error. This is because it doesn't understand these as part of a string, as part of a print statement. So it's expecting me to bring in some operators that will format the string and will make Python to understand this variable. And this is where the string format operator comes in. To change the name is a variable, is a string. So right here, I'm going to say my name is, I will put a pound sign S. Pound sign S means put a string from this variable. The first one is a string. Put the string in here. Now let me show you all the options you have in these operators. If you look at this table, you will see if you want to put a character, you put %C, string is %S, and for decimal is D, and this is for unsigned decimal, and this tree basically is for floating point. So let's come back to here and do what we just saw. Right now we're going to bring in the age. If you see here, the age is a decimal. So going back to my example, decimal is %D. So I will put in the placeholder my age. I'll put in D, and then weight is a float. So I'm going to use the float operator to change this placeholder. So for float, you can come and you'll see for float is %F. So I will say %F, and then I'm going to run this code again, and you can see it's actually replacing all the variables here in the string. So it says my name is Emmanuel, and I am 22 years old, and I weigh 68.0400, like that. Now this is not the number I want. I want it to actually show 68.04. So I can use another of the operator right here. I can use %G, which will give me a shorter version of my value. So I'm going to say %G here, and I'll run the code again, and you can see it's showing 68.04. The good thing about this is that if you want to change a value that is coming as a float to a decimal, you can change this operator to %D. So when you print out the result, it's going to show only 68. This format is an old way that Python uses for formatting string. For some, it's a bit verbose. For some, it's not as nice as the F string or the format method, but it all works well depending on whatever you intend to do. One of the most used output formatting method is the format string method. With this method, you can combine various outputs and data type. Let's take an example. I have here two variables. One is name and the other is age. One is a string and the other is an integer. I can print these out, say name, comma, age. Is actually going to print out the name and the age, using the semicolon. But there are instances where I want to print this out with a statement. This is where we'll need to use the format command with the print statement. To print out these two variables in a statement, I'm going to say print my name is, let me just say my name, and I am my age years old. So as you can see, it's just saying my name is my name and I am my age years old. Now, if I want to pass these two variables into the place where my name is and my age is, I'm going to use the format method. So I'm going to put right after the string, the format method, that is dot format, and I'm going to put in the name and the age. So I'll say name, comma, age. Now, that is the whole string, then format name, comma, age. If you look at it right here, it hasn't changed anything because these are the placeholders. These are the place I want to put the name and the age. So here, to put the name and the age, you use a curly bracket. I have a curly bracket here, and I have another curly bracket where I have my age. So right now, because I did two curly brackets here, the format method assumes that the first item, which is the first index, will be put here, and the second item will be put in the second curly bracket. If you look at the output now, it's saying my name is Joanne, is using name, and I am 45 years old. So it's taking my name is Joanne, that's the first curly bracket, and I am 45 years old, the second curly bracket. Format will assume that the first item will be the first curly bracket and the second is the second curly bracket. But you can actually specify in your format, you put in a 0 in the first curly bracket to indicate the first item, and then you put in 1 in the second curly bracket to indicate the second item. This is important because actually, if you want to change the content of this format, if you do age as the first item and name as the second item, it's going to use age, assume the index 0 is age. So you will see here it's going to say my name. You can put more of the curly bracket in any location in the string, because now that you have them named, the format will make use of them appropriately. So I can come here and say put in the 0 curly bracket. So right now I said my name is okay. You say my name is 0 is age, my name is 45, and I am Joanne. And then right after Joanne, it also has 45 written by it. Because I have them named, I can use more than one occurrence of the curly brackets. String format can be quite verbose when you are dealing with multiple parameters and longer strings. This is where the F string comes in. F string is also called formatted string literals. It is actually an easier way to print out string. It uses a small f or a capital F as the beginning of the string, then use a curly braces inside the string to specify the variable or expression you want to put inside. Let's take a look at an example. In this example, I'm going to write a variable, call it Joanne, first name and last name, last is gonna be Malcolm, These are just names. And I can use the string literal to put together the strings. So string literal is using, you put an F before the string. So you can use a small, a lowercase f or an uppercase F. It all works the same way. You put in whatever variable or expression you want to put in a curly brace. You have right here first. I'm trying to put in the first name and last name. So, and last. So if I print out full now, print the content of full, you will see it's going to print out Joan Malcolm. This is using whatever I put in the curly brace as the variable to define what will be in the string. The curly brace will be the variable expression, and whatever you write in there will come in as a string. Joan column Malcolm, whichever thing you want to put in there. You can also run Python expressions calculations inside the string literal. For instance, I can say I can print out 8 multiply by 10. 8 multiplied by 10. This is an expression, and you can see right here it's actually giving me the value. In the string, I can say 8 multiplied by 10 is equals to, so it's going to give me that value. And I'm not limited to expression. I can actually also put a function. You can actually call a function. I'm writing a function to put in first name and last name, calling it full name, and I return first and last. If I print right now full name James John, is actually going to use this function to print out James John. What I can do, I can still put all this in the let me cut it out and put it in my expression and say full name is, of course, what the next thing is going to be, that is going to be my curly brace that will have the expression, this expression. So I'm going to change this to single quotes. And put this expression inside my string literal here. So right now I put it in here. You can see it says full name is, and then it ran this function here. So this is easier. This is smaller. Format is great, but it becomes verbose sometimes when you want to you have multiple variables that you need to call using format. So this is how you use the string literal using the fstring command.